Today we're here in the vibrant heart of Phoenix with Floor of Fine Finish Paint, walking through a couple of her projects and stepping into the world that she's been shaping by hand. At Lime Burn, we have the honor of spotlighting a truly remarkable artisan. Floor has carved her name into the world of lime wash, micro cement, and Venetian plaster, refining her craft for over 5 years. As a female artisan in our industry, she represents not just skill, but precision, resilience, and a passion that continues to push through this craft forward. Her work reminds us that mastery has no boundaries, only dedication. So today, Lime Burn is proud to be here in Phoenix, capturing her story, her journey, and her artistry, one trail mark at a time. Let's hear her story and walk the spaces that she's brought to life. How you guys doing, bro? Nice to meet you, man.
Fernando.
Mucho gusto, Fernando. Man, you guys are getting down right here, bro. So you guys got this whole pad to do?
Yes, this whole house, we started with the drywall. Level 5 finish, and then we are going to Venetian plaster this area.
So you did the level 5 too?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're that guy, she did the level 5 herself. What?
And paints this whole house. You know, the owners replaced some windows, some doors to make it more homey, more warm.
I love the arches.
Me too.
Right?
Yeah.
Cool, this kind of reminds you of like, say that one movie, what's it called? You know what movie I'm talking about? Frodo?
The Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, Lord of the Rings. That kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
I love that.
They
That's
love
really cool.
arcs.
It's supposed to look like a villa almost, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's the look that they're going for. They wanted to feel very warm, very spa-like, very European. And, you know, they did some rearranging on the framings to give those arcs.
Yeah.
We're actually doing micro cement in their master bath.
You already started it or
No, not yet,
Okay.
but we are going to do.
Let me ask you something about this that you guys are doing right now. How many coats are you going on with?
We're doing 2 coats.
You primed this yourself.
Yes, it's all primed. Yep.
Is it cool if I give you a little pointer?
Do it.
So check this out, look. Normally, whenever you're gonna do a plaster finish, if you wanna not save time or save material, because that's not what it's about. You don't wanna skimp on materials. You wanna be efficient with your time.
Right.
If you were to prime this with the actual color that you're actually applying, it'll help you like so much. Because 9 times out of 10, when you're going on, as an applicator, you're putting it on, you're applying it, but then you'll get some spots where it'll be a little lighter.
Light, yeah.
Right? Because of the primer still bleeding through. So if you prime your base coat, which would be your primer,
Right.
with the same color as your base coat plaster, you can avoid a lot of that. I'm gonna say something, especially on corners.
The corners.
I'm gonna tell you why. Well, you already know, right?
Yeah.
All of us as applicators, we know when we're doing corners, a lot of times we'll press on the corner, and what happens is that you'll get a little bit thinner on your corner, and you gotta come back and keep applying it. But if you prime it with the actual color on the base, you'll eliminate that cute little trowels.
And we like these. We have a variation of type trowels. These trowels here, I like because they're the Japanese style.
Right,
trowels.
yeah.
So they're flexible.
Yeah.
So that gives us more like
More movement.
more movement,
Yeah.
and we're able to apply the material more tight.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about, whatever you feel comfortable using. For me, I'd say to the traditional standard trowels, only because
He got the bigger one up there.
for me, it's more user-friendly. So the whole thing's gonna be Venetian plaster, or is it just
The entrance, and then we're gonna probably do some inside right here.
here and there?
And all that master bathroom is gonna be Microsoft.
How long have you been here?
Well, since we started with the drywall, we've been here about a month.
That's pretty fast.
Skim coating all the walls,
Yeah.
priming them, and then now we're starting with the textures.
So is this the bathroom that's gonna be micro cement?
Everything is gonna be micro cemented.
Okay.
And they chose this color.
Also, is this your sample?
Yeah. It's not the sample of the texture, it's the color. Just look at the color.
Okay, just the color.
All the walls, ceiling, inside the shower. We're going over the tile, which is pretty cool.
So these are all your samples here?
This is the samples of the colors, yeah.
Okay.
These are Sure Crate samples. They're colors.
And these are your sample boards?
No, they're theirs, but it's their colors.
These are the samples they made? They should probably make some samples that
Represent what it is, huh?
Right, that it's supposed to look like, right? I mean, this actually will make your work look really good at the end of the day. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, because sometimes I get customers and they're like, "This is the texture."
Is this the way it's supposed to look?
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I could imagine.
So then I bring my own sample, but this is their colors.
Got it, okay.
I'm working with them to make some samples of what the end product will be with their colors.
Yeah.
So then I can bring some better samples.
Are they local?
Yeah.
See, that's good. That's good that they're local. That way, if you can work with them, you can actually work with the vendor and explain to them, because, it'll help you. And it'll help them too.
Yeah.
To make more sound. Right?
For the customer, all that matters at the end of the day is what the texture will look like and feel like and the color.
Right.
The techniques, the application, how many coats, all that, it doesn't matter to them.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's about the application and what it looks like, and if it works with their space. Also, if it's functional, if it's in a wet area in the shower area, is it waterproof? Are they going to be able to wipe it down? Are they going to get stains? That's the stuff that matters to clients, you know, and that's why we're always educating them and telling them the difference between products. The conversations that we're having with like a person like you, like another applicator, are very different from like a customer.
Of course, because sometimes
they don't understand the
you got to educate them a little bit.
But yeah, education is key for everything. Yeah, we're really excited for this project.
Yeah, no, it's gonna look good. Really, I love everything about it.
I love these doors.
Yeah, these doors, they're really
doors
cool.
are beautiful.
And then the swimming pool, it's got that green water. That water's supposed to be healthy for you right now. Let's go check out the guys. I want to see something. Normally, when I have something like this, what I do is when I apply it like I would apply another layer of level 5 from a level 5 to a level 6 kind of thing. Without too much movement. And the only reason why I do it that way is because, as you know, Venetian plaster, when you apply it, every time you put a trowel mark on it, you leave like a fingerprint almost, right? So when you come back with your other coat, doesn't matter how many coats you go on top of it, you can't hide it. So that's just another thing that I do. And it also saves you time too. But it's also good to put texture in the base coat.
I like doing it because of layering. The base coat for us is the foundation of how we're gonna end. So sometimes we can create different layers within the coat. Sometimes we can apply even up to 4 coats. Depending on the product that we're using. Like for example, lime wash, we've done up to 4 coats because it's such a light color. Then we had to layer it. And every single one, we're creating texture to have an end product that is all seamless and uniform. That's why we like using more texture on the base coat. But I like the idea of coloring the primer. Yeah, the same color.
You know, as an applicator, it facilitates things for you, like when you have the lighter areas. And then with your final coat, when you do Venetian plaster, usually you're pulling it a little bit tighter. You know, and when you pull it tighter, even the inconsistencies of the primer, they'll still bleed through even if you put 2 coats on it. You know, you got to put a lot more material on and go a little bit heavier in some places. If you were going to do this corner, how would you do it with the tools you have?
Like I said, we like to build it up on the edge and on both sides, give it a little dry time, and then we sand to make sure that it's perfect. But with the tools, we would just apply it in that motion to add a little bit. What about you? How would you do it? With the tools that they have right now?
The way I do my corners is I usually make a corner tool. I was telling you about it earlier. The reasons why I do it the way I do it is because, not to talk bad about corner tools, because everybody has different types of corner tools. The plastic corner tools are not flexible. So when you're working with Venetian plaster, whether it has aggregate in it, like a marble, or if you're doing it with like lime plaster that has like the thicker, you know, aggregates in it, when you're using that kind of product and you use a metal corner tool, sometimes it'll turn dark, it'll turn black, especially when you're doing a light color. So people do it, but in reality, if you use something that's plastic, that's flexible, you won't get that. I found this inside the Airbnb. I'm not...
Okay, all right.
I haven't used it yet, so I don't even know if it's gonna work.
Let's do it, let's see.
Got my little tools right here. Check this out. Check it out.
Okay.
I guess a little kid left that
inside
the Airbnb. You know what that is?
Yup. So it's just a card that you bend.
It's just a card, but it's actually made out of plastic. What I used to do back in the day when we used to travel, we used to use the key cards for our hotel rooms. We would cut them or fold them and, you know, shape them to the size corner that we needed. This I found there in the Airbnb. It's made out of plastic. I'm hoping that it's not going to get discolored, but I'll show you what you can do with it. And the only reason why I use this and not metal corner tools is because, like I said, when you press on your corner with the metal corner tool or even with the hard plastic corner tool, what usually happens is you end up taking it off on the corner and then you leave it all clumpy on the edges. Kind of defeats the purpose. It's counterproductive to have it all thick, but the corner doesn't get any material. It's really how you hold your product, you know? Whenever me and my crew are doing projects like this, back in the day, we used to do it like differently. We used to do all the corners first on the whole entire project. We would go in, especially if it's a Venetian plaster, do every single corner first, and then come back in base coat. You see how if I press really hard, the corner doesn't...
It comes out.
Yeah, it doesn't stay on it, right? So this would be considered your base coat. So you imagine if you primed it the same color as your plaster.
Oh man.
You wouldn't have that, right? So this is just my first pass. And then after I do this, come back with my little trowel and I...
Beautiful. Oh, look at that.
And then you let it sit. Do your thing, let it sit, let it cook, right? And then when you can touch it where you don't leave any fingerprints, before it dries 100%, you can come back and put another little tight coat over the actual corner itself on your base coat. That way you don't have this issue with your corners. Giving them a little lesson right here. Floor getting down.
Let's see Angel in action. Dang, he put the hat back and everything. Okay,
yeah,
so that
I did. So check this out. I want to show you guys something. I know you guys using putty knives. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone's doing that nowadays. If you're gonna be plastering all day, bro, you gets yeah, bro, because you're bending down every time you run out of product, you have to bend down and get it. But when you use a hog, yeah, you can have it, bro. Here, check it out. Look, it's light. You don't have to bend down. I mean, with this product here, it's a little bit finer. But if I was trying to burn some walls, I would use that with this product because it has aggregator.
Yeah.
You know, this is just a personal thing. You guys got it.
We use the hawk when it's micro cement because it's thicker, you know.
Right.
But this product,
yeah, it has aggregator. So whenever I apply it, using one side of the trowel is good. You can still hide the trowel marks, right? And going this way. If you're gonna do this technique, my whole thing is to make sure that I hide all these little trowel marks that
both sides
come out. Yeah, I use both sides of the trowel because it makes it look more cloudy. But again, it's not wrong, you know? It's not coming out wrong.
Nice. Okay. You see what it's doing?
This is a freaking Yu-Gi-Oh card. I don't know what that, I don't know what this is. But here, so whenever I do something like this, I'm not gonna let this cook because if I do, then see the primer?
Yep.
I'm gonna see if I can cover all the primer. It's just so I can get my corner nice. Because corners, it's a systemic problem in our industry. I've seen some guys, they use tape and they'll tape their corners. In the corner?
Yep.
And that's just base coat, you know? But you're supposed to have it thick enough where there's a little bit of meat on the corner, but without all the inconsistencies and the imperfections.
Yeah.
That way when you just come back, if you have a little booger here and there,
Yeah, that's why we like to build it up a little bit on the corner and then it'll be a little bit more forgiving when we're sanding.
Yeah.
So we don't go all the way down to the primer.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. That's the way it's supposed to do it, right? You know?
We're gonna have to order some Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
And I was telling Floor, what you guys can do is when you guys do laundry, don't throw away your laundry detergent bottles, bro. You can cut little squares out of them, make little squares, and you can fold them up. You just build it up. And this is just, like I said, your base coat, so.
Very nice.
Yeah. You do your wall, you let it cook for a while, 20 minutes, however long it's gonna take you to do this side. And so once you're done working this side out, on this here, I do go one way, one direction.
Side.
Only because it's at the corner. When I come back, yeah. Because if you come back the other way, you're gonna leave a buildup, right? You're gonna come this way.
Yeah.
So you want to go out.
Very nice.
I like this product. What's it called?
It's Firmalux Berlina.
Berlina.
I've used this for years. It's a really good product.
It all depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for more of a subtle blended look, then you want to use both sides of your trowel. If you want more of a texture kind of thing, that's what you're gonna get when you use one side. You're gonna get more of a, I don't know, what would you call it?
I would say texture. When I have conversations with customers and we're showing them samples, we use the one side of the trowel to show them the texture.
Right.
And when we talk about cloudiness, we talk about lime wash for the cloud effect.
Okay.
You know?
Lime wash is definitely a cloudy look.
Master here.
You guys get the idea, right?
No, yes.
So this works with micro
And then
cement.
you pack it on just a little bit more.
Yeah, so you know how I did this one?
Yeah.
I did it the first time, I let it bake, and I come back and do it again. That's why I told you that back in the day, the way I used to do it was before I started applying anything, I would go in and do all the corners first and base coat all the corners, let it sit.
To your walls, go back in it with the walls. I get it. Okay.
And so now, see how I built up the corner?
Yeah.
Now you have material on there. But you can see why if you were to prime it with the same color, you actually use a little less material too.
Their primer is amazing as well.
Yeah.
And it has that fine sand that makes this product just slide on it. It's very user friendly.
Nice.
So this color, by the way, it's a Sharon Williams color. It's called Sand Beach. And it's one of the most popular colors that we've used in different areas.
So you use this color a lot?
Yeah, because they see our samples, they see what it looks like already in other finished projects.
And they're like, we want that color.
We want that color.
Well, yeah, it's an earth tone color.
It's a very earth tone color.
Yeah.
You already got dirty.
But yeah, I know, right? Yeah, you can't do this without getting dirty.
Yeah. You want to try that?
You could do it, bro. But I wanted to show you guys the corners. Look at the corner floor. Like, go inspect it real good. There's no white. It's built up. And
man, look at this. Nice.
It's clean, right?
Nice and clean, dude. Because you have more control.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
With the plastic, you have more control.
It's flexible.
How much pressure you want.
Yeah.
Man, that looks beautiful.
And not all the corners are perfect. Sometimes you'll have a corner where it kind of curves in this way, curves in that way. So if you have a hard corner tool, when you do it, you'll be like, damn, it builds up on one side and on the other side it's flat. But this allows you to have the freedom of going over the corner exactly the way it is. Exactly. So if the corner is imperfect, it doesn't matter. This is going to be imperfect too. It's gonna follow the shape of the corner.
Right. I love that.
I figured you might like that. So yeah, so if you guys are wanting a corner tool, you can get your own, man. You can go down where you get your business cards made and get them made in plastic because it's more flexible, like I said, and it's gonna have your logo on it. So that's what I do now. I only use plastic business cards.
There you go.
You don't want to use a lot of color on it. I don't know if you have a business card that has a lot of color on it. Sometimes with the line, it'll eat the color and you'll have the color on your finish. So I learned that the hard way too. So
what about the inner corner?
So on those, bro, so I'll show you something too. Which your corner looks good, dude. Whenever I do any corner, especially in here, it's gonna sound kind of dumb, but I use my fingers, bro.
Your pinky?
Nah, my index finger. A lot of times when you're doing corners, to save you time from having to come back and detail and everything, when this is still wet, you apply inside the corner, you push it in with your finger. However you guys want to do it, but this is the way I do it. Usually I'm wearing gloves when I'm doing this.
It's gonna eat up your finger with the aggregate.
Yeah. I don't really have much finger left. So I put it on this way, right? And I use my trowel. You don't want to leave that ridge there. That's why having the front end of the trowel square, it's good. Because you can use it for something like this. We don't have a ridge there, but the corner is already been stained or painted with the plaster. It has the plaster inside.
I do it a little different. I do it with the taping. The taping knife. So I go in and I come out. When we're doing
this smooths out your corner 100%. Now you don't have any kind of little high spots or anything. So when you do this side, now you're gonna go from here. I call it fingering the corner. I finger the corner. I know it sounds stupid, but that's how I teach my guy. I finger it like this all the way across. So when you pull tape, you push plaster inside where your straight line is. But if you don't finger your corner, when you pull tape, you're gonna have to come back, retape it, and then finger it. It'll leave you a cleaner edge. When you put your finger on the corner with the material, you're smoothing and you're pushing it into the corner, but you're not leaving a ridge because you're coming back and you're cleaning it. If you feel this with your hand, there's nothing there because I pressed it down so that when you come back on top of it, with your base coat on this, you're gonna hide that. It's funny because everybody I show that to, everybody laughs about it, but because it is kind of funny, but
hey, but at least you won't forget it like that.
I know.
No, you won't forget it.
I've showed them a couple tricks too. Is like when we have areas where they're a little not perfect on the top edges.
Right.
What we like to do also, and this is a painting trick too, is we put tape, we put caulking, and then we put material. When we remove the tape, it's gonna need
it's
nice,
gonna be
crisp,
perfect,
clean
right?
line.
Yeah.
We've done that many times with fireplaces, right? When they're vertical,
right,
and it's a high point. Sometimes they have that wavy.
Right. Yeah.
That unfortunately is there. We have to work around.
Yes.
But with the tape, we're kind of creating that line.
Right. Yeah.
And when we go in with some caulking, when we remove it,
it's perfect.
Perfect line. And we've used its finger technique too.
Yeah.
A lot of these corners we've used, the method that we put it in, we pull out like that. But in those top edges, we do use a lot of the finger technique.
Yeah, it's important to do it. That way when you do go to pull your tape, it's clean.
You gotta have nice crispy cream lines because
Crispy cream. What?
I haven't had lunch. Your walls can look perfect.
Yeah.
Movement, the texture on the walls. But if your edges and your inner corners are not as great,
up to par,
it's not going to be a perfect job.
Yeah, that's the first thing the homeowner looks at, or the contractor's going to find. Your wall can look amazing, shiny, beautiful, right? But then your corners look like choppy or inconsistent. Then
chunky.
Yeah, that'll send the whole job packing.
Yeah,
honestly.
That's what we do. Is always at the very end, right? Like that's one of the last things that we look at. Okay, walls look great. What about the edges? What about the corners, the inner corners? You know, it's super important. And with different techniques, like the card or, different tools. Yeah. Once we are comfortable using them, I think it will leave a better finish.
Micro cement is stickier, but you can use that card technique on that. And the laundry detergent plastic, it's like The best. It's honestly, it really is the best.
Yeah.
It's like you're gonna toss it out. You can cut it up into little squares, you know. I usually cut them up into like little business cards. I'll stick like 3 in my pocket and I'll go do a job. Then when we're done, we just leave it, toss it out. It doesn't matter, you know. And what's cool about using those kind of plastics is that the color doesn't come off of them. Where's that card I have? A Yu-Gi-Oh card. There. So what I'll do is like, because everyone is different. I got big fingers, man. So I'll cut a big piece for myself. You know what I mean? You can put a piece of tape here like this, get a piece of cardboard or a piece of wood, and then you can tape it to this, and you can have the little handle sticking out of this, and that could be your handle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I had a couple guys that wouldn't use them this way. They built their own little handles on them, but it would just be laundry detergent plastic is what it is. And I'm not trying to show you guys this trick so that you guys don't buy corner tools, because I use corner tools, I really do. But 9 times out of 10, the corner tools don't really work in certain areas, you know? Like for instance, you got a corner in here. There's no corner in here, right? This goes all put flat.
There's no corner in here. It's just flat, yeah.
There's a little corner, but it's tiny.
A little bit, yeah.
But like I say, if you had a little wheel here that went in maybe 1/2 inch, they don't make corner tools that small. You kind of have to do it.
You have to do it, yeah. You have to get creative.
But you have to get creative, and that's where, you know, cutting these little plastics, you know, it really does. It helps a lot. It's helped me over the years, you know, to be able to make sure that just because they're smaller corners, they don't look like, you know, like I did them with my hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it looks clean. I like what you guys are doing here. You guys are doing a good job, man. Another thing too that I do on the top, I'll come back with the trowel and I'll turn it sideways like this. I'll clean the edge this way with the flat part of the trowel, you know?
You know, there's so many tools. There's so many techniques out there.
Yeah.
That's why we like learning. You know, we like learning from people like you, from, you know, other classes that we've taken to get better. We have our own techniques. You know, a lot of customers, they like our techniques. We show other finishes to other clients of other people, and then, you know, they like theirs. We could do it, but we have our own techniques. And so far, the stuff that we've done, we've been really successful with the outcome.
Yes.
And we like playing around with texture. So learning these techniques are going to help us tremendously for, you know, for ongoing projects. Yeah, it never stops. You know, there's always different techniques that are
you're
invented
always learning. That's one thing for sure.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to, you know, stuff like this. It's just, there's always something. And not every client wants the same look. You know, some clients want more movement. Some of them don't want so much.
Yeah, some of them
like the fireplace.
subtle.
Some of them want, you know, horizontal, vertical finish.
Yeah.
And so everyone is different. My thing over the years of learning what I've learned is our industry, you have to be really good at what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Know the product, know what you're doing, make the customer happy. But what does that take? That takes patience, right? Understanding of the material, experience, of course. But then at the same time, too, it also takes for you to slow down. You have to slow down. You have to do it right, make sure it's good. And so for me, I've learned that, okay, I'm going to slow down when it comes to the process and understanding what I'm doing. But I need to find other ways to be efficiently faster.
Yeah.
Why? Because why are we doing this?
At the end of the day, it's all about money.
Right.
It's all about money. We got our bills.
This is another trick too. Like, for instance, when you make your mock-up samples, you want to make your mock-up samples the way you do your actual
product.
finish. Yeah.
How you're going to do it.
You don't want to switch it up and then, oh, it doesn't look like your finish, right? It'll save you a little time by applying your material with movement, but not as much movement, where you can get across the wall, you know, maybe twice as fast. And then concentrate on your final coat being your actual movement.
Yeah.
When you prime it the color of your plaster, that's basically what you're doing. You're doing
That's
coat.
kind of like your first coat.
Yeah.
Second coat with the product.
Yeah.
And final coat is the texture.
The technique and everything you guys are doing, this is really good. Like I said to you earlier, this is like a 2-coat application in one.
But when we do our texture, we like the highs and lows.
Right.
You know, of the texture, so you can see the line.
Right. Yeah. I like this technique. I like it. Believe it or not, these trowels, I like them. They're not my go-to only because, like, when I'm on a wall, I like my trowel to be every tool that I need. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't use my trowel on, I don't know, probably I scratch my back with it, and I remove tape with it. I do almost everything with my trowel, man. Serious. I use it as a knife.
You said you had a good trowel that you liked. Is that the one that you were talking about?
Oh, so this one here, this one, I like to use it for like micro cement or. It's a no blackout trowel. You know what I mean? It's K-Tech. They sent me some tools, and out of all the tools that they sent me, I gotta say this is
your favorite.
Yeah, this is my favorite.
Okay.
And I used it to do. It was a small wall. It's like 100 square feet wall of a limestone finish. That plaster if you push on it, if you look at it wrong, it'll turn black. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If you put a metal trowel or a stainless steel trowel on it, it turns black. But this stuff, this trowel here, no matter what I did, it
Is
didn't.
this stainless steel or?
Nah, that's
chrome?
that. They put some kind of it almost has like a chrome finish to
Like
it.
a chrome
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that it doesn't turn black. I don't know what it is, honestly. It's kind of small for me.
Yeah.
Because if I'm gonna apply material, you know, I like to use a larger trowel. And this one's a Pavon's trowel. You ever heard of a Pavon's?
Yeah, I have. I never used their trowels, sir.
No? Yeah, if you want to go larger trowels, I don't know. Smaller trowels, like I said, it all depends on the finish that you're doing too. Like right here, you got to use a smaller trowel because that's how you do your application on your sample boards.
Yeah.
Tools are definitely important. So I don't see like a lot of tools here. You guys are just using like a putty knife and trowel and that's it.
We
and a drill.
we try to be minimal, not to be evasive and have tools everywhere. We try to have a clean job site.
Yeah.
Of course, a bucket with water, a bucket with wet rags, and just try to be clean as minimal as possible. Again, you know, we're kind of like you too. We like to use one trowel or just a very few to do the job. And I don't also see the need to have like 5, 7 tools to do one job.
Right.
You have little things here and there that you need.
Yeah.
But to keep a clean job site is super important.
Yeah.
If this was a home where the customers were living, right, and they already had flooring, you know, all this would have been covered with ram board.
Yeah.
There would have been plastic on the walls.
Everywhere.
Our walking area from the entrance of the house, everything would be covered. And if there was an area where we would be making a lot of dust, you know, we would quarantine that area.
Right. Especially if you're going to be mixing.
Mixing and then sanding, you know, dust gets everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's a different environment when it's an open space.
Right.
And no one's here. You know, it's an empty house versus when it's a living in house already. You know?
Yeah, definitely. You want to make sure you protect everything, especially if you're going to be working in there. You know?
Yeah, the wheels can do a lot of damage to floors.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially
if you lock them and then you try to move it. Start ripping
the black
all the paper
marks.
on it. Yeah, that's cool, man. I like what you guys are doing here. You guys are doing good. Did you learn how to use this product on your own, or did they? Yeah. That's cool.
They actually offer classes in Florida.
Yeah. And you went and took the classes?
No. But I've tried different materials.
Yeah.
And Porcello is the one that is very, very smooth, and you can polish it to look it's very high reflective, and it's almost mirror-like. It's beautiful. That's the one I use. I like to use when I create the marble effect walls. I've used that many times.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But this is my favorite.
Have you tried the wet on wet finish? It gives you a different look. Call it the wet on wet. It's because it's what happens is that when you apply it, you know, like when it's like this, 70% dry.
You can do it again.
You can come back on top of it, but it'll do a different technique, a different style, different, you know. Like you're gonna have clients that don't want movement, you know, that want it very subtle.
Yeah.
But they want the stone look. They want the plaster look without all the movement.
Yeah.
The wet on wet look is what.
Actually, I had a client who wanted no movement with Venetian plaster. And I used a trowel that's similar to this. And there was essentially, it's kind of like just drywall skimming.
Right.
You know, subtle movements. And it's, you know, longer strokes of the trowel. And that's how you create the more subtle or almost no texture, is using those big ones and just kind of, it's your movement.
Did you polish it?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
They wanted almost no polish.
Yeah. Just a little bit of movement though.
Every client is different. Every client, you know, has their own idea.
Yeah.
I've had customers say, hey, look at this picture on the phone. I want this on my wall. Not knowing that they're showing me like an AI generated photo, and I have no idea what they're looking at, right? So that's why samples are very important, is for them to see, feel, touch in person before we put it on their wall.
On the actual sample boards that I give, they have a little, I want to call it a little information on it that basically states, sometimes you'll get variations of a look, you know?
Color or texture.
Yeah, and sometimes it's because of the lighting. It has not necessarily anything to do with you as the applicator. It could be the lighting, for instance. Like if you see that wall there, that wall is a little bit darker. Just like when you paint, right?
Right.
That wall's a little bit darker than this one because this was the natural light's hitting in. So the difference in the shades of colors, it's going to vary. It doesn't mean necessarily that you have a different color or you applied a different finish. It's just the dynamics of the room changes, so does the look of the plaster. So that's one. Two is also the applicator. Right here you got Fernando and
Jesus.
Fernando and Jesus. And they both look like they're applying it identically, but one is probably applying a little bit thicker, the other one maybe a little bit finer, because now you're having a 30-foot long wall, 20 feet tall, And the variations of the applicator, it shows in your wall too. So it's something that, for me, I'll show you this. And I've already done a video about it, but I'm gonna show you something, okay? Whenever I do really big jobs, say I do a really big wall, right? And there's only 3 of us. Like for instance, there's only 3 of you. Jesus will be up on top, Fernando on the bottom, and you in the middle, right? So you guys are going across. I would get about 8 feet maybe, and I'll tell Jesus, get down, Fernando, you go up. And then you shift too. That way, now what you're doing is you're staggering your finish. That's what we call staggering, if you stagger each other. What happens is that you save yourself a whole bunch of headaches, trust me. Because especially when you're doing a really big, like staircase walls, there's really no stopping points, right? You got to get all the way across the bottom. So whenever you're doing a staircase wall, you're going to have those kind of issues. So staggering is important.
Everybody's hand is different with texture. Like you said, some apply thinner, some apply thicker.
Yeah.
Some go more, some go little. Small, you know, and you'll see that.
You will. You'll see it. It's better to have that like sporadically everywhere. Like let's say Jesus draws it more to the right, then you'll see it here, and then you'll see it up there, and then you'll see it down there. Like, oh, okay, it's everywhere. You know what I mean? But if it's just the one all the way across the top, then
So here, with the second coat,
yeah,
they should be doing this here because I know he applies it a little differently. Yeah. So Jesus, don't forget that. Switch up. And this one too, like maybe like 4 times.
Man, I like it. I like what you guys are doing here. I like that, you know, Phoenix, Arizona has an artisan like you here, you know, and I know that you've been developing your technique over 5 years now, which is amazing what you've been able to accomplish in such a short period of time. And now that, you know, most of your projects they're not just your regular standard finishes. You're doing high-end artistic plaster finishes, which is amazing. You're very well-rounded when it comes to the products. You don't just stick to one specific product. You're using other products. I noticed that on the fireplace you use Meore. Here you're using Firmalux.
Firmalux,
which is an Italian-based product, right?
This is an Italian product. They import their stuff from Italy, so that's a little Italian flag right there. But
and they also have a Gracello.
They also have a Gracello that you can polish and you know.
Forensic Color, you know, has a Gracello too, right? Have you used that?
No, I haven't. The polishing ones, I like their Gracello. La Mundo from Meore is really great to work with as well. You can polish it really well, but I, in my experience, have been able to polish up more theirs. Yeah,
well, the La Mundo is what I use.
Yeah, right? La Mundo's awesome.
Yeah.
Love La Mundo.
Yeah.
We use it all the time too because we can get it locally here and we can just get it in a day.
Actually, what's cool about Meore is that Meore, to my knowledge, they have over 500 locations all over the U.S. And they definitely have one here, you know, where you can pick it up. Is it a Sherwin-Williams?
It's Arizona Paint Supply.
Okay.
And they sell Benjamin Moore paint.
Okay.
But they carry all the Meore products.
Got it. Okay. Usually it's either Benjamin Moore or the Sherwin-Williams that they carry.
Yeah, but we get it all from them because they've just been great to us.
No, that's good.
We have a good relationship with the stores. Yeah.
You know, that's important because, you know, without them, we wouldn't be able to do our work.
I'm short, you know, a gallon. Can you help me get it?
Shoot it for me and then even bring it to you probably.
Yeah. I mean, they'll get it done in like 20 minutes if we need it. Yeah. And that's the great part of working with them.
That's cool, man. Yeah, so Meore is a good product. The La Mundo is a really good product. That's what I use. I use La Mundo. There's another one that I like to use a lot of. Lucidos from Textone. Okay. It's a lot like the Venetiano, the old school Venetiano. I would say it's more thicker.
Okay.
You know, it's almost like, it's not acrylic. It's definitely not an acrylic. It has lime in it. It's a super good product. It's really shiny as well. A lot of the stuff that I post, you know, that I've been posting, it's La Mundo. All the shiny stuff that I use is La Mundo. You can also finish it like this if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. And I like what you're doing here, Flor.
We work really hard to, you know, knock down these textures as perfect as possible, right? Nothing is perfect, but we try really hard to make these finishes as perfect and as appealing and to satisfy the client. You know? That's what's important to us is making sure that our customers are always happy at the end of the day. And you know, some are different, some have different expectations, you know, and we deal with designers all the time and GCs, and you know, they have a little bit of a better understanding of what this product should look like. Right. So, you know, sometimes some designers keep us on our toes, and that's the stuff that we like, right? Yeah, because it keeps us growing.
Yeah. Makes you better.
Makes us better.
Makes you better.
So yeah, well, we're going to keep knocking it down, and we're going to keep going, and
That's
See
good.
where it takes us in the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah. You're doing, honestly, you're doing good. You're doing really good. Like,
We're excited
have
for the future.
a big project like this, it's good. You'd be surprised. A lot of the stuff that looks like it's super hard to do, it's actually,
Not that difficult.
yeah, it's not that difficult.
Yeah.
Um,
That's one of the things about me is like, and this is coming from the construction remodeling side of me, is that I had situations where a customer would show me a picture and say, hey, can you make my media wall look like this? And I'm like, done. Because I have a way of like kind of putting things together in my head, even though I've never done it before, but I know how to do it, if that makes sense. It's weird.
Yeah.
But I would know how to put it together.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess, just that imagination or that innovative mind
Mm-hmm.
that I feel like I have. And it's helped me a lot with this kind of stuff, because when people show us or show me certain things, I can make it happen. Sometimes not the first time,
Right.
but I can do it.
Yeah, that's
eventually.
awesome. That's awesome. To be creative that way is awesome. I don't know. It's
No, I mean,
good to be creative. It really
You're
is,
an artist,
especially.
though. You're an artist. This is an art form. And
Yeah.
even though like we can use the same color, the same brand at another place, it's never gonna be exactly the same wall
Right.
at another place, right?
Yeah.
Like you're giving it your fingerprint, your stamp, and that's what makes you an artist. It's
Yeah.
you're creating art.
It's just a bucket till you touch it.
It's just a bucket until you touch it. That's right.
That's true.